friend, I'm SURABHI, and I'm a registered physiotherapist in Ontario, Canada, and I'm a pregnancy and postpartum athleticism coach. I own my own virtual coaching business called The Passionate Physio, where I do both one-on-one sessions and I offer my base fitness membership. So today I want to talk to you about physical rehabilitation and the application of all of your physical, postpartum rehab stuff into your everyday life. When you see a pelvic floor therapist, or if you have seen a pelvic floor therapist, you may have received some exercises from them. As you're going through this program, you may have received exercises that you can start to incorporate into your life. I want to show you how to actually make that happen. So if you've received Kegels as an exercise to do, or if you've received some stretches to do, how to integrate that and weave that into your day to help maximize how you feel in your body, how good you feel in your body. Right off the bat, I want to say that when you've undergone a loss this immense, your body's undergone a lot of trauma, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And with that stress, with that anxiety, with the fear of all of the things that you've experienced, you can also experience a lot of physical symptoms with that. And that is a normal response. When our bodies are undergoing a lot of trauma, it is not normal for our bodies to just say, oh, I'm so relaxed. It's normal for our bodies to feel tense and to feel like it's so hard to let go of all the tension. And when we're holding a lot of tension, it's normal to experience pain from that. So sometimes even understanding that pathway helps to take the fear out of it. I know that some of the questions that have come up is this going to be how I feel forever? Is this how tense my body's going to feel? What has happened to my body? I want you to honor that where you are in your physical recovery right now is still quite early on, and that you will improve over time. And I'm going to show you some strategies in by which to do that. So let's start with one of my favorite ways to just tune into your body throughout the day, and that is BUM. So BUM stands for breathe, unclench, and move. It's a very simple acronym, makes it easy to remember. And I want you to use BUM in between every transition. So let's say you've just finished a meal and you're getting up to go to the kitchen to do some dishes. That transition between finishing up a meal and getting to go to the kitchen, I want you to breathe and unclench your abs, your pelvic floor, your butt, your tense shoulders and jaw, and then move on to whatever task you're doing. I'll show you with a laundry basket. So if I was to carry a laundry basket, I'm gonna first breathe, relax my abs, my pelvic floor, all the common areas of tension, jaw, neck, and shoulders, and then I'm gonna move. The way I did that is I used a little bit of a squat, or you can even use a deadlift. Now I say this because I actually feel like I hurt my pelvic floor when postpartum, when I went to lift my laundry basket. That was too heavy and I wasn't breathing, and I definitely felt a lot of pressure there. So that's a very common way that people tend to feel worsening of symptoms, is through everyday things like carrying groceries, carrying your laundry basket, throwing out the trash, just awkward things that are that you can't just hold really close to you. So I want you to think about BUM during those transitions. So breathe, unclench, and then move. Why do we focus so much on unclenching? Let's go back to the biceps as a muscle. When we have to lift a heavy load, it would be really hard to lift that heavy load if we're already clenched. If I have to go and lift that up, it's gonna make it hard. Versus if I'm starting off unclenched, if I'm relaxing the muscle first, then it's a lot easier for me to pick up that bag off the floor. Our pelvic floor, our abs are the same. When we're sucking in all the time, when we're clenching our butt all the time, it makes it really hard for those muscles to function optimally the way they're meant to. And I wanna make sure that you're aware that you're not doing it on purpose. You're not clenching on purpose right now. There is a strong correlation with that fear and that pain, that stress response with clenching. When we are scared, when we are anxious, when we're very stressed, when we've undergone immense trauma, our bodies will physically respond to that. And I talked about that a little bit at the beginning. And what happens is it sets off this sympathetic nervous system response. Your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response, your freeze response, where you're just kind of deer in the headlights, or you're running away from the lion. So that type of response is activated in our bodies. That is great for like short term. I'm running a 100-meter dash. I'm doing this really explosive exercise, fantastic. But that is not a good space to live in for the rest of your day, for every day. And that often tends to happen in people who have experienced a big loss and who've experienced a lot of trauma in their bodies, we tend to live in this elevated space of sympathetic nervous system activity. And so we want to spend as much time during the day getting into that parasympathetic mode. That's where we rest. That's where we digest our food. That's where we feel at ease. That's where our bodies can let go and relax. So one way to tap into that is by your breath. And so I know Bree's talked a lot about your breath already. I want to recap. You're going to place your hands in the lower rib cage. And what you're going to do is you're going to inhale through your nose, letting that rib cage expand 360 degrees, and then you're going to exhale, letting the ribs come together. There are many, many ways to breathe. You can breathe through here, your chest. You can breathe through the lateral costal, the ribs sideways. You can breathe into your belly, into your pelvic floor. The idea is that you breathe and you let everything expand. Just like if you have a balloon, which are your lungs, inside your body, when you pump it up with air, you should see everything expand. And that's what we're aiming for here. You breathe, you do 5 to 10 breaths during that transition. That's another strategy that I like to give people is transitions. We have so many transitions throughout the day. We're, finishing meals, we're wrapping up a task. If we're working, we're going between meeting to meeting. Let's say at the end of your day, you're getting out to drive to the grocery store. So all of those transitional times are key periods where you can do a quick tune into your body. If you don't have a lot of time, you can try the bum, because that's just as simple as breathe, unclench, then move. Or if you have a bit of a moment, if you have a bit of time, I want you to take 5 to 10 breaths during that transition. And you're just literally putting your hands on your ribs and really supporting your body. You can even put one hand on your abs if that feels nice. And you're thinking, inhale, release, expand, pelvic floor relaxes, and exhale, draw in. Inhale, relax, everything expands. Think about that balloon expansion. And exhale, things draw in. So rib cage comes together, your abs draws in, your abdominals draw in, and your pelvic floor also lifts up. My favorite way to actually feel your pelvic floor lifting up is to sit on a towel roll or a cushion. You can sit on an exercise ball. That feedback into your perineum can make it easier for you to actually feel what your pelvic floor is doing. So even when you're sitting, watching a show, for example, you're sitting on the couch at the end of your day, you're exhausted, but let's say you can't sleep, and you're sitting on the couch, sit on something, put a cushion underneath, and just even feel that inhale, relax, and exhale, draw in. Inhale, relax. My hand here is symbolizing the pelvic floor here, and you're gonna exhale, lift up. It's like you're lifting up a small blueberry that's sitting at the tip of your vagina. You're lifting it up your vagina. You're lifting a little raisin up your urethra. You're lifting a little marble up your anus. So we have 3 holes down there, and you're thinking about lifting them all up and relaxing them all into the pillow, right? So the coordination of the breathing in, relaxing your abs and your pelvic floor, breathing out, engaging or drawing in, that coordination takes a while to practice. And the more reps you get, the more repetitions you get of that, the easier it feels, the more natural it feels, because that breathing rhythm is exactly what you're going to do during movement. Or it's one of the strategies that you can use during movement. So let's say I have to get up off the floor. I'm going to breathe, unclench, and exhale to get up off the floor. Same thing if I'm picking up that laundry basket, I'm bending down, inhale, exhale, lift up to move. Again, I'm showing you one strategy that can work. If that strategy, that breathing strategy, doesn't feel good for you, you can also try this. You can try, inhale here, expand, exhale, draw in, through the entire movement, right? So you can also inhale down, exhale up, or you can inhale and exhale through the entire range of motion. So there are so many breathing strategies, but you're going to notice that they all start off with you taking a breath in and relaxing these areas first. It's very difficult to have a good muscle contraction when your muscles are always tight and engaged. And so going back to that stress, anxiety, and fear mode that our bodies are in, we talked a little bit about the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response that's activated in our body, or the freeze response. And we want to spend more time activating the parasympathetic. One way is that breath is the most powerful way. Another really fantastic way is through movement. So I'm going to show you some moves that help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and we're going to also show you some acupressure points that activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So let's say you're waking up really sore and you're like, I slept last night, but I don't feel like I did. My body's achy and sore and tired already first thing in the morning. I encourage you to get in some gentle movement. I'm not talking about going for a 5K run, just getting in some movement. 5K stands for kilometer for my American friends. I know you use miles. So you're gonna get down into the tabletop position here. If that position bugs you, you can always elevate your hands onto a stool or yoga block, or you can even do this move in standing, leaning against your kitchen counter or your bathroom counter on your forearms. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the cat-cow. So you're gonna inhale, letting your abs go, letting your pelvic floor open, letting your butt cheeks relax, and you're gonna exhale, keeping everything still relaxed. Inhale, look up. Only going as far as you're comfortable, so you don't have to overly arch. If this is as far as you can go and then your abs start to hurt, if you have a scar in your abdominal area and that doesn't feel good stretching yet, just go within a pain-free range of motion. And what you're going to notice is as you do this breathing and this movement, you're going to notice that your movements ease a little bit as you do more reps. Now, this is something you can wake up and do every single day. You can do this throughout the day. You can do this in the kitchen if you're just experiencing a moment in the kitchen and you're like, I feel like I can't take a full breath in, I'm stressed, or my anxiety is going on. Instead of just focusing on the breath part, try getting in a bit of movement, because it's a really fantastic way for us to send some positive feedback to our brains, to tell our brains that we're okay, that things are going to be okay, and just kind of tuning back into how our body's feeling. So you're going to inhale, look up. If it helps you count, you can count out loud or in your head. You can count to 4. If you have deeper breaths, you can count to 6 or 8. And try it right now. See how it feels. If you're standing or if you prefer standing while doing this, I'm going to show you what that looks like. You're just going to lean on something. You're going to inhale again here, stretching, relaxing your butt. And exhale. This can feel really nice for anyone who's experiencing any symptoms of prolapse or any symptoms of leaking, urinary incontinence, or any kind of incontinence down there. When you're holding a lot of excess tension, it can worsen your symptoms. So just restoring some of the normal length in those muscles is really, really helpful. For people who've experienced this amount of trauma, it is very common to notice increased muscle tone and tension at rest. So we want to normalize that muscle tone and tension. You know, some people are like, oh, if I'm too relaxed, will things be too loose when they heal? No, they will not. We want to start by restoring length before we start restoring strength. And what that means is it's really hard when your biceps is just strengthening from here to here. You can be super strong from here to here, but as soon as you go to here, you're going to feel weak. So it's really important to restore the normal length of the muscle as well as the strength. So same with our Kegel, our pelvic floor muscles. It's really important to do the drop and the let go as well as the pickup. I really like doing Kegels. First of all, you don't have to do Kegels all the time. I really like doing Kegels through movement. So going back to lifting, if I'm doing any type of squat, right? So if I'm holding the dumbbells through here, and I am inhaling down, relaxing my abs and my pelvic floor. Exhaling, do a mini Kegel as I rise up. So I'll show you the side view. Inhale down, relax abs and pelvic floor. Exhale, up. Notice that when I did that mini Kegel, you didn't see me clenching my butt. So it didn't look like this, right? Our Kegel, our pelvic floor muscles are just our pelvic floor muscles. They're not our buttocks or our glute muscles. So that is a really fantastic way to start strengthening your pelvic floor through your full range of motion. And guess what you do? You do that every single day when you get up off the toilet, when you get up off the couch, when you get up from your bed, you're getting up, you're doing a squat. So what I want you to do every time you stand up from your couch is pause and bum, right? Going back to the beginning, breathe, unclench, and then move. And if you want to incorporate that little Kegel and that drawing in of your abs, again, just keep it light. You're not trying to suck in your core to max. You're just trying to keep that light activation, light picking up of the blueberry as you stand up. And so that is one of my favorite ways to incorporate Kegels and abdominal contractions during your day-to-day movements. So we talked about picking up laundry baskets and groceries. We talked about the breath strategy through there, using that same breathe, unclench, move. We talked about getting up from a chair, couch, or toilet. Same strategy, getting up off the floor. Inhale down, exhale up. It's not bad if you bend from your back. It's just if you're always bending from your back, you don't allow your glutes or your legs to strengthen in the same way. So I really like, when you're picking up a sock that dropped, something spilled on the floor, see if you can use that nice deadlift move, or even get down into a squat and see how your body feels doing that. One of the hardest things is to find energy to do your exercises, or energy to set aside specific time to do your homework. So when you start incorporating and weaving in these exercises throughout your day, you'll find by the end of the day that, oh my gosh, I've gotten in 20 squats today and 30 deadlifts just from life, from picking up things off the floor, from reaching into your cupboard, into trying to get your oven mitts or whatever it is, just from real life activities. Think about how many times we get up from our chairs. If you work at a desk, you might just be getting up from a chair to go to use the bathroom or get some water. If you are at home, just getting up after every meal. If you're watching a show, you're taking a break. We get up from couches and chairs and bathrooms a lot. And so weaving in your squats, weaving in that breathing strategy into those activities is going to be super, super helpful. Next, I'm going to show you some really simple ways that you can practice pelvic floor release or relaxation during your day-to-day. One is at the kitchen counter. You can use the countertop, whether it's this height or a little bit lower. My side of my couch is a little bit lower, but you can imagine the same exercises at a countertop height. You're gonna hold on to the side and you're just gonna lean back, really stretching your butt back. You can even open up the cupboards underneath and you can hold on to the base of your cupboard or one of the shelves, and you can use that to help stretch out your butt and your posterior pelvic floor, so the back of your pelvic floor around your anus. Another exercise that you can do is that cat-cow with your forearms leaning against the countertop or your hands. Inhaling, look up, exhaling, curling your spine. Another fantastic one that I really, really love is thread the needle. Thread the needle. So you're going to be in this position. I'm going to show you on the floor just so you can see it in the full version as well. You're going to inhale to rotate open. Arm straight option or bent, whatever feels good for you. And then you're going to exhale to thread that arm through underneath. Here you're going to really feel your mid-back stretch, your pelvic floor stretch. Everything's going to feel nice and open. If you feel really tight through your rib cage, that's quite normal, especially when you're holding a lot of stress or anxiety in your body. What you're going to do is you're going to take advantage of this position, and you're going to actually set a pillow down if you need it. You're going to thread that arm through, rest your head. There we go. And you're going to pause there for a few breaths, and you're going to breathe into your back and between your shoulder blades. So right into here, you're going to breathe into your back. And relax and ease. 5 breaths. And the same thing you can repeat on the other side. So rotate open, whether it's with a bent arm or straight arm, and thread that arm through. So you can time this with your breath. And then at the end of doing a few reps, you can even just pop your head down again on this side and stretch and hold that position there with a bit of a twist to encourage your rib cage to open up more. When our rib cage is really feeling stiff, it restricts the mobility of your spine. And so what I mean by that is your lungs reside inside your rib cage. So when everything is really stiff from the understandable tension or stress that you're holding in your body right now, what happens is this can be really hard to get that full breath in. So instead of just practicing more breathing, let's practice a bit more thoracic mobility throughout the day, not just once a day, but weave it in throughout the day. So when you're at the kitchen, you might do a little bit of cat-cow. When you're on the floor, let's say if it's evening and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch a show, you can get down on the floor and do some thread the needles as you're doing that. Another great one, you can either sit on an exercise ball or you can even sit on the couch with a cushion underneath your pelvic area, just for some feedback into the perineum, even rolling up a towel like a log and sitting on that for some feedback into your perineum can be really, really helpful. So I'm gonna move forward a little bit. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale, expand the ribs, and then you're gonna exhale, let the ribs come together. My hand down here is gonna pretend it's the pelvic floor. So you're gonna inhale, let the pelvic floor descend or relax into the ball, and then exhale, draw the pelvic floor up away from the ball. You are not bearing down here, you are just letting it go and come back. So letting it go and come back. Same with your abs. Inhale, relax, and exhale, lightly drawing. This is a great, great, great exercise to practice even when you're eating. We want our meals to feel like, or we want ourselves to feel like we're a little bit more calm when we're eating rather than always in a heightened level of stress. And so one strategy that I offer is keeping a towel roll log on your dining table, so that just as you're sitting down for a meal, you can sit on it, practice even 5 breaths in this way, and then you go ahead and eat your meal. Or you can do this at the end of your meal as well, just to help give yourself a bit of reprieve from the constant amount of tension, especially if you're feeling like you're holding a lot of tension in your body right now. And then give yourself lots of compassion and grace, because it is not your fault that you're holding a lot of tension. This is just a reaction to a very extremely stressful, traumatic event in your life, that it's understandable to have all of this pain and tension in your body. But I also want to show you strategies on how to alleviate that, so that it's not then adding to the further stress that you're going through right now. So I'm going to summarize some of the things that I've chatted about, and I'm going to finish by showing you some really, really wonderful ways that we can tune into the parasympathetic nervous system that have nothing to do with movement and more to do with acupressure and meditation. So the first things that we've gone over bum, breathe, and clench move. You can use that strategy when you're getting up off the floor, couch, toilet seat. You can use that strategy when you're picking up your laundry or your dumbbells or your groceries, anything where you're doing any kind of lifting, moving. When you're lifting up something heavier, that's when you really exhale and you feel your abs drawing and your pelvic floor drawing. When you are just getting up yourself and when you're in your early phases of recovery, it can be helpful to feel that activation happening, but I don't want you to always have to think about your abs and your pelvic floor long term. That should be a normal movement that happens when you get up from your chair. You shouldn't have to think about, okay, I gotta lightly activate my core and pelvic floor every time I stand up. Okay, so those are some strategies that you can use. I showed you some cat-cow and thread the needle, as well as finishing that thread the needle. You can even use a ball like this and finishing with that butt up pose like this, or even with that twist and that breathing at the end of your thread the needle. Those are some really good strategies to open up the pelvic floor and release some of the tension that's in there. You can do that on the floor, or you can do that in standing at the kitchen counter, bathroom counter, dining table, or your desk. If you're working at a desk, these are fantastic things to do at your desk as well, to alleviate some of the tension and start off your movement with your muscles in a resting, relaxed position rather than already starting with them clenched. This is especially important if you're planning on doing a workout, to make sure that you're starting with a good baseline level of relaxation before you get into your workout. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to sitting on this, and I'm gonna show you some strategies for activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So your first one is going to be rubbing your hands nice and warm, and you're gonna put this over your eyeballs. You're gonna breathe. This feels really nice. This is really nice if you're waking up super groggy and you're tired. Same thing, you can do that a few times. Breathe. Slow it down. You can keep your eyes open or closed. And you're essentially trying to keep your eye in the middle of the pad of your hand, right? And so the next one you can do, you can rub or you don't have to rub your hands together for this one. You're gonna go into your ear. So our ears are really great areas to do light massages to. You can even have your partner or a trusted person give you a massage over your scalp, just gentle massage. You can even do your ears. And so I'm gonna show you a nice spot in your ear where there's a bit of a triangular shape. I'm gonna come closer so you can see where I have, there we go. You can see where I have my ear pods. So you're gonna go up higher in through there at the very top right there, at the top of this triangle right there. That's where you're gonna go. And there's a spot right there. That spot of your skin is innervated by the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the same nerve that goes into your heart and helps to calm down your heart rate, helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is a great way to access that vagus nerve from the outside of our body. So you're going to just go into that little triangular spot through there, and you're gonna do a gentle massage through there. And that feels really, really nice. You can even use your pads of your fingers, your thumb and your index finger, and you can do a gentle circular massage into that spot in that triangular part of your ear. It doesn't have to be, this specific spot. When we're doing acupuncture, when we're using needles and doing acupuncture, that specificity matters. When you're using acupressure, when you're just using pressure of your fingers, you can be in that general vicinity and you're gonna get a really nice effect. So this is a really great one to do, for example, when you're like, I am having trouble sleeping. Or let's say you wake up with a lot of anxiety and you're just like, I need a way to tune out of my head and just get into my body a little bit more. And this is a really great way to do that. If any emotions are released when you're doing this or this, that's okay. Crying, all of the emotions are valid and okay. And it's just your body responding to you caring for itself. So honor that. It's okay. It's actually really nice to let your body feel all the things that it's feeling. And of course, in conjunction with mental health support and partner support or family support, all of these things can be really, really helpful. And I'm gonna finish with one last one. You're gonna put your hands over your heart, right over your sternum, right there in the middle, and you're gonna apply some firm pressure. You're gonna breathe in and you're gonna say out loud, I am safe. I am safe. I am loved. And I'm never alone. And you can put your own hands over your heart and say this out loud to yourself whenever you need to. You can sub it in with whatever positive words that you want. If you are spiritual or religious and you want to use other phrases, other quotes, you absolutely can fill that in. But this is a really quick way to make sure that you're weaving in self-care throughout your day, rather than just when you're doing your pelvic floor exercises. Because our pelvic floor, the function of our pelvic floor is not just to do Kegels, it's to function in real life. So I've given you some real life strategies where your pelvic floor is functioning and will function well. And I wanted to thank you for watching this, and I hope that this was helpful for you. You can always connect with me on Instagram at The Passionate Physio. You can check out my website, www.thepassionatephysio.ca. I have my base fitness membership, which will be really great for people who are beyond the early recovery phase and are ready for some more challenge through their bodies. So you can check that out, or just send me a message and say hi. And I would love to hear from you, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.